Welcome back to another episode of the Positivity Hour. Today, we're going to be talking about the new release of my mixtapes, or rather, the problems that have come along with that, and also the journey that I covered as, topics, developments, growth, all of that and more after the intro. So let's just get straight to it and let's go. All right, thanks for coming in. Welcome. Appreciate you. Thanks for giving me a little bit of your time. I'm your host, Darshaun Smith, but that doesn't matter. Let's just get straight to the time capsule.
Time capsule.
Few points for the time capsule. Iowa, number one, won the game, but number two, really was trying to lose the freaking game. Wait till you see the behind the scenes vlog. The whole time I was recording, I was like, I'm going to title this section, Watch Us Actively Lose This Game. And somehow, some way, Drew Stevens and Caden Weegan, the mother trucking white lightning out here himself, just willed it into existence. Not to mention Mark, just with that god tier pass out of nowhere. And it was so good that, and if I could find this, I'm gonna put it on the screen as well. But someone on Twitter was like, yo, when did Iowa turn into wide receiver university? And it was at that point that I knew that whoever that was smoking crack rocks, because we didn't watch the same game, brother. Nonetheless, I'm proud my school got the dub. Grateful to be an alumni of that great institution, and the pleasure is always mine or theirs, whoever it wants to be. No Chick-fil-A though, because it's Sunday and I don't support their politics anyways. But thanks for having me, Hawkeye Marching Band. It was a great season, wonderful overall. The Iowa Hawkeyes still have another game. Hopefully they can beat Nebraska, but doesn't matter, at the end of the day, what I'm saying? We're going bowling, and I work for the band, so the band never loses, so we always win. That's all I got for the time capsule. Let's just get straight to the main topic.
Time for the main topic.
So, for the main topic, as you may or may not know, I make some music, okay? I also do release some of it, and particularly if you're watching this on YouTube, I've released both the A side and the B side of the mixtape, but I'm running into some copyright licensing disputes and all of that and such on DSPs, not DSP like Darshaun Smith Productions, but DSPs as in like Spotify, Apple, Amazon Music, these folks. And long story short, half of the mixtape is out. So like this song, like Can't Go Broke.
Hey yo, Mr. Engineer, can you turn that mic on? That's me. Let's go! Yeah.
Like this song, like the B side, if you zoom in real quick, Darshaun, is on Spotify, Apple, and the other places it's actively being distributed. It takes, up to 2 weeks to get to everywhere, but it just gets to Spotify fast because Spotify likes it like that. Quick and fast and dirty. Woo! And but long story short, the A side, it's nowhere to be found other than YouTube. And I wanted to talk about, both the short-term implications on how that made me feel and how I reacted to that piece of adversity, and what I'm going to be doing to remedy that solution. But I also, for the second part of this, the longer half of this episode, is I want to talk about, what I covered in the mixtape. Like, why did I feel the need to even make the music in the first place? And more importantly, like, what problem did this solve? Yes, it's just a hobby I was doing for fun, but for me, it genuinely did solve a problem. Because, and I'll give you, the main plot here. I was stuck in a creative rut, not like, oh, I don't know what I should create or this or that. It's just like, no, I just like wasn't feeling that I was creating at a high level, or I wasn't, and even more so, not rather than, I just didn't feel like I was enjoying what I was creating. So I needed something to create for fun. That's why I do music for fun. Okay. I don't care if it gets 0 views. I don't care if it gets 1 million views. I'm just going to do it the same. I'm not doing it for money. I'm not doing it for any of that. That's why, like, this podcast and, like, my business, Darshaun Smith Productions, which, maybe I should have also added this into the time capsule, just reworked my website again. Like that, I used to do this camera stuff for fun, but now I do it for business, and it could be tedious, and it takes the fun out of it because you got to like try to make a paycheck now. And but it is fun, it has its moments, but it's just it's not the same when it's a strict passion project versus like it's a career, something I'm trying to spend every waking hour of the day on. And the mixtape, it started as just a few songs, and then I was like, I'm gonna dedicate some time to this, and I'm gonna make 50 songs. And as I just kept making more and more songs, it was like, yo, it's the 50ish song mixtape. And as you saw right there, what's actually been released on Spotify, is the best of the 50ish song mixtape, because in total I made 61 songs for it and released 48 technically, because one of them's an interlude, a conversation I had with my mom. And sadly, that's not on Spotify and Apple and all of that, because that was in the A side that they said I didn't own the rights to, which is crazy. You'd be surprised how much money I just spent on this little passion project. But I say all that to say that the short-term implications, the problems of not getting that released, and me feeling some type of way about that, and having to still go, shoot photos with the Hawkeye marching band yesterday. It was really getting to me, because it's like I worked so hard for this, both in terms of recording the music, but then even like uploading the music and the cover art and the titles. And it's just like there was so much hours and hours and hours of work that went into this. And just to see the email of being like, your album was rejected, it's like, oh Lord, oh my heart, oh Lord. And then I was like, wait, come on, like just figure it out. Like, did I steal a beat or two? Most definitely. Okay, like one of the beats on there, the guy's YouTube channel doesn't even exist anymore. I couldn't even pay the guy if I wanted to. Okay, but whatever, there's workarounds to that. And that's what I realized later, where I was like, yo, like on some of them, like I just need to like actually copyright the song. I need to go to like copyright.gov and finish crossing the T's and dotting the I's, so that I can rightfully like claim ownership to the beat that I purchased and the recordings that I put over it, because I own my masters. You know what I'm saying? I'm a real businessman out here. But I say all that to say that I have a plan in place, and it simply is to try again. Okay, if at first you do not succeed, what do? A lot of people are like, well, I'm just not going to put it out. Well, hey, it's on YouTube, so I know it can be published. I just have to do it a little differently, repackage it, maybe leave a song out, or something like that. And most importantly, just try again. Okay, and that's true with all things in life. But like I said, and like I say continuously on this podcast, I talk about myself and what I need to tell myself on this podcast, so that you can also get some interesting insights into what maybe would help you. And I think that is a big thing, that if a lot of people just tried again, if they just did something different, if they, maybe left out of those few songs, or that, like I said, went and copyrighted, or, crossed the T's and dot the I's, you would see success. And because of that, I'm not giving up. But all that being said, now that's the short-term side of it. Let's talk about the long-term side of it. Long-term side of it, like I was saying, I started making the mixtape. I started making the music because I did not enjoy what I was creating at the time. I felt like it was dog water, and that was because I had turned a passion into my paycheck, and I wasn't fully in love with the entire process. If you go back a few episodes, obviously things have changed now. It's almost 2 years later, and I love everything about the production company, the website, the DMs, the messaging people, the shooting in real life. I'm still not loving the taxes, but I'm coming around to it. Okay, like I'm trying to enjoy the whole process over here, but I needed something else to like channel some energy towards, or just talk about my life, or just really compartmentalize externally some thoughts that were in my head that were just really counterproductive, which I did cover in those 11 songs that didn't make the cut. There was talking about past trauma and how I was hurt, and situations where I was blackmailed or bribed, or extorted, or whatever, what I'm saying. And it was a great experience that ultimately led itself to me making this mixtape, making cool songs for my friends, just trying to make positive music, like use the same beats as like Future, but talk about like positive stuff rather than like glorifying murderers and drug dealers and all of this. What I'm saying? Be the change you want to see in the world. And that's a common thread of this podcast. So it's only right I would do something like that, because I'm Darshaun Smith. Everything's on purpose over here. Okay, but like long story short, because I don't want to waste your time, here, I just want to, fully emphasize this point here, right here, just in particular. Like, if you can only take this one point from this podcast, like, take this. It's okay to not be okay, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't keep moving forward. And for me, I knew I was not okay. And the only way that I could see at the time, okay, was I need to start making this music because it's going to add some enjoyment and some fun back into my life and make me want to get out of bed and work hard at something, Yes, I'm not trying to be a rapper. I'm not trying to be a singer. I don't want to do music as a job or a career. But it was what I needed in the moment to get the hell out of bed and start pounding the grindstone again. Start loving my job, start loving my career, and just feel like, oh my goodness, like I'm so excited to wake up today and get to work. And because of that, it was worth every penny I've spent on it. Like I said, a few $1,000s in the hole right now, but I thought, hey, money well spent. That's some of the best money I've spent yet. And like I said, if you got Spotify, you can listen to the B-side right now. It's still being distributed to like Amazon and iHeart and everything. Like I said, it takes another week or two for it to fully get into stores. And I'm going to be re-uploading the A-side here soon. But yeah, man, just true adversity, and we are overcoming it. So that was kind of like your main topic. Let's get personal and all that. So let's just hop straight to some wisdom from your OG real quick. All right, for this week's wisdom from your OG, okay, or AOG, however you want to look at it, I want to go back to some quotes. I was reading, in my quote board here, and I don't know. These are ones that I just keep coming back to, like whether it's about like the business or the brand or even just like your personal life and what you do, like Chris Do would say, like building a brand is not a product of invention. It's a product of memory. Like literally, like think about like McDonald's or Coca-Cola or anything you buy. Like if you're with your girl and she shops at Ulta or Sephora or something like that, or Lululemon, or I have 2 Stanley cups behind me. I'm not sure if they're in frame, but like all of these things and more. Like, yes, like there's a physical aspect a lot of times, even with what I do with photos and videos, you can get physical photos, you can get physical graphics. Yeah, you can get a phone to hold the video or have the thing vibrate or get rained on, so it's like a 4D experience. But it's the memory that lasts with you. You know what I'm saying? It's the memory that sells you. It's the memory that keeps you in part of the ecosystem. And I just wanted to mention that because it's like it fits perfectly in this theme of, this whole episode, which is like the memory of the thing is as important of the thing. The reason why I did the mixtape is just as important as me doing the thing. You know what I'm saying? The reason why you did that one thing that got you the girl or got you the guy, is as important as maintaining that relationship now. You know what I'm saying? Could be a friend, could be a partner, whatever. La-di-da-di-do-da-day. All I'm saying is it's the memory that counts. So make sure you're making good memories. Make sure you're living a life worth living. I didn't read that. That's just coming from me. I want to read one more quote here. I'm going to go to my old quote board, okay? Because I read that one from V1, like the quotes version or version 2. So let me go back to quotes version 1. And I want to read... I don't know who I want to read a quote from. I'm gonna just stop, okay? Okay. Hey, funny enough, I found a quote for myself on here. Can't even make this up. I just saw my name. I'm just gonna read it. So let's see what Darshaun was talking about 2 or 3 years ago. Whatever content you make or product you're trying to sell, if it doesn't stop a human like they're looking at fire, then you failed, okay? And yeah, I think about that all the time when I watch a Whistle and Diesel video. Oh, Lord have mercy. But yeah, that's your wisdom from your OG. Both a quote from me and a quote from Chris Do, Canadian designer, marketing master guru himself. Bald man. I can't believe that he's the GOAT. I would love to meet him, but like I also am not gonna go out of my way to meet him. I'm sorry, I don't like you that much, Chris, but you are pretty cool. So that's all I got for today's episode. Nice, short, and sweet. This should be like 15 minutes max. And yeah, last thing I want to say as we do the outro here is shout out to Chadwick Boseman. Obviously, he passed away from stage 4 like colon cancer, but he just got his Hollywood star like walk of fame, you know, that whole thing. Probably should have put this in the time capsule as well, but whatever, it's here now. And yeah, the GOAT. And I saw this video that I'm gonna put in here if I remember, and I just gotta find a way to like screen record it or email it to myself. That's the bigger thing. Of like these people showing the original Black Panther, how do you say, like the cover design, and they were just talking about like, dang, this is what white people must feel like all the time in America, like feeling this represented and this powerful, like I would love this country too. And it's like, yeah, like I literally felt like that for Chadwick, you know what I'm saying, when that movie came out. I watched Black Panther 6 times in the movie theater, and although yeah, he was just an actor playing a role, his superhero abilities and everything went beyond the screen. And I just wanted to say that as the outro, that we are all humans, you know what I'm saying? We all have an expiration date, some sooner than later, but what we all have in us is the ability to make change, okay? Some for the positive, some for the negative, that, you know, funny enough, turns something positive, because life is a cycle, y'all. Life, you know, has good times and has bad times, you know, good times, strong times, weak times, bad times, la-di-da-di-do-da-day. It's a cycle, okay? Where we are right now, we're definitely in some challenging times. That's not even in the cycle I just described. That's in that middle part. But that is a great thing because it allows us to have a choice. We can choose where to go. If we want to go left, we want to go right, we want to go up, we want to go down, we want to go diagonal, we want to go in all directions at once. We can choose. So I challenge you to choose this week, okay? Choose a direction you want to change your life going forward, okay? Next week's topic, I do want to talk about goal setting for 2026, and particularly like my top 10 goals. 5 are like physical material items, and the other 5 will be like, I don't know, like business endeavors or like personal like weight goals or stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? So look alive for that. But that's all I got. I don't want to waste any more of your time, you know what I'm saying? Well, I wasn't wasting it, but now me yapping, I'm wasting it. So yeah, I'm your host, Darshaun Smith, aka the Positivity God, and I talk about my personal life. I don't coach anybody, but I just tell the camera what I need to tell myself, and people seem to find it interesting or whatever, you know, people watch. So I appreciate you. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you around. Deuces. Woo! Yeah.
DSP. We capture moments.
I'm in my G'd up zone. I'm about to get it in, kick your feet up, home. Days turn to weeks when you're always on the grind all night. I got my re-up back. I'm about to get it in, I'll be right back.
Nate, high lows to those who don't know the name. And G'd up, yup, that's the only thing I claim.